Close. Okay, here we go. My first live stream YouTube. Boy, do I feel like an old millennial. This whole online universe is very strange. Good?
You are into something.
Okay, good. So, technical struggles, but I'm here. I have set up a nice structure for my yoga session, and today I'm going to take you through a little bit of movement, a little bit of sitting, and a little bit of lying in the end. But as always, let's ground ourselves. Let's ground ourselves in meditation. Okay. Since this is also repeatable, I understand you can watch this whenever you want, and you can actually press pause. If you're watching this later, press pause and go get yourself 1 or 2 yoga blocks or books that have more or less the shape, 1 yoga strap or a scarf or a belt, whatever you have at home, and maybe a couple of blankets and pillows. I prefer this setup, like folding up my blanket. Okay, let's find our seat. I'm gonna go through this again in case there's someone out there that hasn't seen me yet, like a new student. Pay great attention to the way that you place yourself in your meditation and your breathing seat in the beginning. Take the time to find the proper height for your buttocks, for your pelvis to be raised up slightly so it feels easier to sink down. You don't want to feel any sort of tension or disturbance in the hip. Maybe, of course, like an old injury or something you're struggling with currently, then perhaps you can use another height and prop yourself up. You want to feel comfort in the front of the hip, in the hip joint right here. And we place our pelvis. And I always use this model that I try to feel as the pelvis is moving forward towards my heels. I'm going to show you from the side. So some of you may be feeling like this is a straight spine. I suggest you bring the pelvis forward and see what happens. I get my natural arch here in the lower back, and it feels a little easier for my hips and for my legs to stay grounded. It's also an ease in lengthening the spine and allowing the chest to stay open without having to have to muscle it too much. When you have found your comfortable seat, then let's close our eyes for a bit. Let the first moments of your awareness training, of your meditation, encompass foundation. I'll explain it a little bit later. Encompass the movement of life as you are experiencing it, feeling it on the inside, and that life thread, the breath. Foundation, I consider the most dense part of us, which is our skeleton. I consider foundation to be the lower part of our body, from the waist down approximately, and its relationship with the pull of gravity. You want to feel the weight of your pelvis and the weight of your legs sinking super heavily down, really giving in to gravity. The feeling is almost like your butt cheeks are melting out on top of your pillow, on top of your blanket. So you feel very grounded, very steady, like you're building yourself a strong foundation. Now, this foundation wants to serve you to allow you to maintain a tall spine without too much effort from your abdominal muscles or your back muscles. Almost the feeling that the spine is floating at the center of your body, of your torso, landing just at the base, kind of imagining it to be in the pelvic floor, and then balancing on this pelvic floor, lengthening, tall, aligning without any effort or as little effort as possible. This lengthening of the spine will be held by a certain pull from the back of the skull and the top of the head, reaching slightly upwards, a light feeling as though the head was that helium balloon slowly floating upwards, contrasting the heaviness, the density of your pelvis as it descends towards the pull of gravity. When you feel that foundation is set up in such a way that it allows you to relax in the posture, then focus your mind on the internal movement that you can discern, what you can feel on the inside. When you start drawing mind towards what is happening inside of you, that blood flowing, belly digesting, nervous system fluttering a little bit here and there. If you're like me and you have some digestive issues, the belly will start churning a bit. Just don't try to make a big deal out of it. Treat it like a little scan, as though you want to visit all the parts of your body from the inside, from the feeling, sensation perspective. Almost like taking stock of how you're feeling in this very moment. And after foundation and the sensations, the feelings of life inside, draw your attention to the breath. Now, some of you meditators out there that have done this for some time, you will be able to hold all these three groups simultaneously in your awareness. But if you're beginning, or if you're a little scatterbrained or flighty in your mind, then perhaps it's nice to anchor mind in breath. The breath is a wonderful anchor because it's an anchor that provides continuous movement, and movement is something that mind absolutely loves. My mind especially loves movement. So when I started meditating, it was very helpful for me to have this continuous changing energy, this continuous moving entity to focus my mind around. Maybe it is for you as well. As the mind is anchoring in breath, or in this more sense of open awareness where foundation, sensations and breath are all part of your focus, you want to train your awareness to become a little sharper, more alert. So when you're drawing it to your breathing, your sensations, your foundation, you want to feel as though you're almost like an animal waiting in the grass, in the bushes, watching, observing its prey. That sense of stillness, harnessing mind's attention, harnessing your focus and drawing it stubbornly, consistently towards the object that you're studying, that you're observing. We find that it falls away, it escapes to thinking about yesterday, about tomorrow. Whenever it does, whenever you notice, without any drama, just simply bring it back. heavy legs, heavy pelvis, continuously giving in to the pull of gravity, settling, grounding. An effortlessly elongated spine floating up at the center of you, led by that slight pull from the base of the neck, the base of the skull, the top of the head, reaching upwards, that sense of a floating healing balloon. Because of this effortless foundation placement, the muscles in your abdomen, the muscles surrounding your spine can relax a bit. And this facilitates for the breath to feel that it can move with greater ease. Now we're going to start stretching the breath very gently, gradually. Take your exhale and follow it through all the way until you're empty. Take your inhales and let them push through a little bit more, opening in the rib cage, in your belly, almost as if you're feeling that you're inflating a balloon. If it feels useful, help yourself by applying this Ujjayi breath technique, this narrowing of the space in the base of your throat, producing that sound, that whispering wind-like sound, which gives you another key, another place for your awareness to investigate that breath. How does it sound? And the key to widening, deepening that breath is to continuously relax your diaphragm. Also, you that know me know that I always have this image of my diaphragm like a jellyfish, very liquid, moving gently, floating, dancing under the influence of the breath. Feeling how that diaphragm distributes the movement, the energy of that breath a little lower down in the body. So the inhale reaches all the way down to your lower abdomen, all the way down to your lower back, maybe even all the way down to the pelvic floor, to your hips, to your groin. The inhale creates space, it opens you, it stretches you out ever so gently, and the exhale is your ticket to relaxation. As you exhale, you can almost feel how gravity starts claiming the weight of your pelvis, the weight of your legs, the weight of your arms, the weight of your shoulders. Use that exhale also to clean out any tension you carry in your face, especially around the jaw, eyebrows. Next time you exhale, just let the weight of the head drop forward. See if you can maintain that long, effortlessly aligned spine, just allowing the head to drop, allowing it to also give in to the pull of gravity. And you will feel how that awakens these sensations in the base of your neck and your shoulders. Relax your mouth, jaw, diaphragm. belly. And then we roll our head to the right shoulder. And we just let the ear lean down. Heavy, heavy head. Maybe tug on the left shoulder slightly so you feel that space between the arm and the ear opening up like a rubber band. Slowly, softly, just using the pull of gravity below your right ear. Letting the head drop. And a little tug at that left shoulder. And then roll through center. Place your hand the other shoulder. Relax your mouth, your jaw. A little pull on the right shoulder now. And then of course that continuous big calm breath. On an exhale, drop back down. Now let's move through our hips and our knees, and we're going to come to a child's pose. And those of you that know me and that have practiced with me before, you can probably guess that now we're going to enter into that very soft movement practice, starting from our child. Place your hands as wide apart as your shoulders are wide. Place your knees as wide apart as your hips are wide, more or less. Let your belly sink down on top of your thighs. Let the weight of your skull drop down towards the ground. Now let the breath move all the way down to your lower back. Let it move down and into the back of the pelvis, into the hips. Every inhale wants to massage that area. Every inhale wants to create a bit of space, add some energy to that tired lower back. And every single time you exhale, see if you can give in to that pull of gravity with the weight of your head and the weight of your arms. Soften your jaw, relax your neck, relax your shoulders and the diaphragm. Now today I'm going to take you through a very soft movement practice, and we're going to use a steady, even breath rhythm, as that rhythm of the breath is very calming for our nervous system. Just follow me. Wherever you are in your breath right now, exhale. Together we inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. 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 Next inhale, gently find your way up to cat position. On the exhale, softly curve your spine, following the rhythm. On the inhale, arch your spine, look up. Then exhale, sink to your child's pose. Inhale, cat position. Exhale, curve your spine. Let the weight of your head drop. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale to your child's pose. Inhale to your cat position. Exhale, curve your spine. Inhale, arch, look up, soft movements. Exhale to your child. We inhale to our cat position. Now tuck your toes under and push up to your downward facing dog. Immediately walk your feet towards your hands. And once you get there, bend your knees and just drop the weight of your spine and of your skull. From here, push the ground away through those heels. Keep your knees bent for a bit and then slowly start rolling up. Taking your time, moving through the spine, letting the neck and the head come up like this. When you've come up, use your next exhale and just drop the weight of your head forward. Inhale, roll your head towards the right shoulder. Lengthen your left fingertips in the opposite direction, diagonally down. And then exhale, let head fall back to center. Inhale to your left shoulder, lengthen your right fingertips. Exhale, sink back down. Inhale to your right shoulder. Exhale, center. Inhale, left shoulder. Exhale, center. Now bend your knees. Pick up your shoulders. Draw them all the way up to your ears. And then on the exhale, let the shoulder blades move together, back, and then slide down. Once more. Inhale, bring your shoulders forward and up. Exhale, bring them back and down once more. Inhale, shoulders move forward, move up. Exhale, back and down. Let's do the whole arm. Fingertips lead the way, coming all the way up. Follow your breath. Exhale, arms float down once more. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, arms float down. Now we inhale our arms up. As the fingers move up, push your heels down. Exhale, just the arms down. As the arms float down, feel the top of the head float up. Once more. Inhale, arms up. Dig your heels down into the ground. Exhale, feel the top of the head floating up as your arms descend. Now we inhale our arms up. On the exhale, bend your knees, send your hips back, and then drop your head down. On the inhale, just lengthen the spine. Imagine the top of the head and the tailbone pulling away from each other. Continuous movement until we exhale and we drop back down. Once more. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, drop. Now push those heels down. Send your fingertips all the way up. Heels dig down into the ground. Exhale, arms float down. Inhale, arms up. Follow your breath. Marry your breath with the movement. Exhale, bend your knees, hips move back, head drops. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Now we take it back to a dog. We inhale through a cat position. Then we exhale, we curve our spine. We inhale, we arch, we look up. Exhale, child's pose, as if your tail is pulling you there. Then the top of the head leads you back up to cat. Exhale, down dog. Now in this first dog, stay in your dog. Try to find that same calm, steady breath. See if you can maintain that rhythm, that even breath rhythm that will calm and soothe the nervous system as it is struggling with the different aches, pains, weaknesses, shortcomings, and just old age within the posture. Help yourself by really relaxing what you can relax, your jaw, your neck, your diaphragm, that will help you breathe. Spread your fingers very wide on the ground. Feel like the hand is pushing down into the ground. All the fingers are grounded. Good. Next, inhale, walk your feet to your hands. Then exhale, bend your knees, relax, spine, relax. We push the floor away, we come all the way up. We exhale our arms down. Inhale, arms up, strong legs, light arms. Exhale, bend your knees, hips move back, head drops. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Maybe if you want, you can straighten your legs as well. Then walk to your dog. Inhale through your cat position. Exhale, curve your spine, really drop your head. Inhale, arch, look up. Sink back to child's pose. Inhale, move back through your cat. Exhale to your dog. Breath. Calm, steady. Feel the weight of the head, the weight of the skull give in to the pull of gravity with it, and it will lengthen your spine. Just pull the spine slightly, allowing it to relax. Now you want to build strength in your feet and strength in your legs. If your legs are straight in the posture, then hike up the kneecaps using your thigh muscles. If your knees are bent, make sure the kneecap looks straight over the second and third toe, so you keep that structural alignment of your legs. Those of you with bandha practice, apply a moderate bandha, one that feel like it can almost lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling, so once again the spine can just slide heavily down. Stubborn about the breathing. Calm breath, but very stubborn breathing. Next, inhale, walk your feet towards your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, relax your spine, drop your head. Then we push the floor away, we come all the way up. Exhale your arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend your knees, hips move back, head drops. Inhale, long spine, maybe straight legs, make them strong. Then step back to your downward facing dog. Inhale through your cat position. Exhale, curve your spine. Inhale, arch, look up. Sink back to to child's pose. Inhale through your cat position. Exhale to your dog. Take an inhale and reach the right foot off the ground. Swing it, step it, make it move in between your hands. Drop the left knee down. Take an inhale here and the top of the left foot glues to the ground, and on the exhale send your pelvis, your bandha forward towards your right heel. On an inhale just open your chest, let your chin move up. And then we exhale, we let our head drop, we let our pelvis drop once more. Inhale, lengthen your abdomen, open your chest. Exhale, sink down. One more time. Inhale, lengthen the front, widen the chest, look up. Exhale, come down. Let's do one more. Inhale, open. Then tuck the left toes under, step back to your downward facing dog. Inhale through cat position. Exhale, curve your spine. Inhale, arch softly, look up. Exhale, tail pulls you to your child. Top of the head takes over, pulls you up, leads you to your cat. And then we rise up to our downward facing dog. Left foot steps off the ground, moves in between your hands, the right knee comes down. An inhale setting up so the top of the right foot is on the floor, and then on the exhale sink down with the pelvis towards your left heel. Inhale, open your chest, look up. Exhale, heavy head, heavy pelvis. Once more, open your chest. Exhale, drop down. Inhale, open chest. As you do, glue both feet to the ground. Exhale, sink down. Once more, inhale. Then tuck the right toes under, plant your hands and step to your dog. Inhale through your cat position, keep moving. Exhale, curve your spine, heavy head. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale to child. Inhale through your cat. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Breath. Weight of the skull dropping down. Relax your neck. Spreading fingers wide. Placing your feet so the heels are more or less below your sit bones. If the knees are bent, they point straight over the second and third toe. And if the legs are straight, hike up those kneecaps. Feel energy throughout the whole leg. Breath is calm, maybe a little louder now. Breath is stubborn. Try to hold on to that even, steady rhythm. Next, inhale, step your feet to your hands. Exhale, bend your knees, relax your spine, relax your head. When we push the floor away, we come all the way up. We exhale, our arms down. Drop your head, roll your head to the right shoulder. Lengthen left fingertips. Exhale, come back to center. Maybe even bend your knees. Now push your heels down, lead your head, lean it to the left shoulder, lengthen the right fingers. Exhale, coming down. Once more. To your right shoulder. Exhale, center. Inhale to your left shoulder. Exhale, center. So the arms. The arms, they move forward, they move up. On the exhale, we bring them out, a little back and down once more. Inhale, arms forward, arms up. Exhale, arms come down. Good. Now interlace your fingers behind your back, like so. You want to use this grip and pull your hands down towards your heels. At the same time, you want to raise your heart a little taller. So it moves up towards your chin, that is softly dropping down. Now we're exposing this whole diaphragmatic area, the solar plexus, the vagus nerve, all very sensitive parts of our body. We hold and store a lot of anxiety and tension. Now give it some space, use that breath, very stubbornly. You want to feel as though that inhale widens the rib cage just like an accordion. Every exhale, relax your mouth and your jaw, drop the weight of your head. And then we softly let go. Now take your books, your blocks, shoe boxes, whatever you have at hand. Place them below your hands, the same width as your shoulders. Place your feet right below your hips, the heels the same width as your sit bones. So now you're in this kind of tabletop position, which is almost mimicking a cat. I call it my giraffe posture. And I use this posture when I have any sort of tension in the hamstring, or if I feel like it's too much to bend forward because it tugs in my lower back. And the reason I use it is so I will connect the shoulder with the top of the humerus, the top of the arm sinking down. But more importantly, feeling how the pelvis sinks down on top of the head of the femur bone. Maybe bend your knees a little bit. You want this crease at the front of the hips to stay soft, stay gooey, stay relaxed. You want to feel how the pelvis almost clicks onto the head of the femur bone like two pieces of Lego. And then lengthen your spine from there. Top of the head travels forward, tailbone travels backwards, stretching gently by just directing these two opposing parts of our skeleton into opposite directions. In the middle you have your spine, you have your rib cage. Try not to tense up your diaphragm. Let the breath spread wide in the lower back, spread wide in your rib cage. Use every exhale and relax the top of the shoulders, your jaw, diaphragm. And then perhaps you feel like you have more space in the hamstrings. Most of you probably felt that already from the get-go. Then you can bring the blocks down to this level. I like having the hands on the ground. It makes me feel like it's easier to relax the weight of my head and to soften my shoulders that have a tendency to get very tense. Also notice where on the heel it feels better for you to stand on. We're all very different in our bone structure and our proportions. For me, it feels better to stand a little bit more towards the heel, and I find it's easier to dig into this crease at the front of the hips, and it's easier for my spine to fold forward from the hips. But some of you with different proportions may find a similar comfort standing more towards your toes or more toward the middle of your foot. Okay. Now we're going to keep the blocks in this level. Stay here. And we place the right foot close to the right block. We place the left foot behind us so we come to this long lunge position. Now once again, we hold on to that alignment, feeling that the heels are right below the sit bones on both legs, even though they're unsymmetric in their placement. We take the heels and we push the right heel down and the left heel back, so you feel the strength and energy in the leg. Take the top of the head and draw it up and away, diagonally upwards and away from your tail. Let your shoulders sink down and away from your ears. Breath spreads, diaphragm is relaxed. And then just step back through a dog, do a little dance with your hips if you need to. And we do the other side. Left foot close to the left block. Parking your feet so they follow that. Heels below your sit bones. Top of the head reaches out and away from your tail. Shoulders sink down and away from your ears. Breath is calm, steady. Engage your heels. Relax that diaphragm continuously. And on your next exhale, put the blocks to the side and just step back to your downward facing dog. Take an inhale through your cat position. Take an exhale and curve your spine. Inhale, arch your spine, look up. Exhale to your child's pose. Stay here in child. And let the body relax. Feel the pull of gravity. Dropping the weight of your head, the weight of your pelvis, the weight of your belly, the weight of your arms. Wherever you feel like the practice has created a little resonance or an echo inside, move your breath towards it. Use that inhale to create space, to massage, to energize. Use the exhale and see if you can soften a little bit. Relax. Next inhale, come up to your cat position. Exhale, curve your spine. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale to child's pose. Inhale through cat position. Exhale, curve your spine. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale through cat. Exhale to your dog. Take that right foot off the ground. Step it in between your hands. Now drop your left heel down. On an inhale, come all the way up to your warrior one. On an exhale, open up to your warrior two. Stay in your warrior two. Keep that front knee bent. And now from here, we're going to dig a little deeper into that crease in the front of the right hip. Use the fact that we're bending the knee so the hip can relax, and send the pelvis in the direction first of the left heel and then a little higher up. The top of the head will lean in the opposite direction. Maybe if you have your block at hand, you come to a modified triangle. Bring the left arm up. And then let the shoulders and the ears separate. Keep that right knee bent and keep feeling that softening in the front of the right hip. Try to rotate your femur bone externally inside that hip joint. So then this Trikonasana become a very interesting hip opener. Breath is still calm. Still using those exhales, we try to clean out the tension in our shoulders, neck, jaw, diaphragm. And then from here, we let the block go. We park the right hand on the floor instead, or for some of you, maybe bring it down a little bit. And then we take the left hand and we direct it diagonally upwards, as though we wanted to draw a long line that starts on the outside edge of our left foot, reaching all the way out through the left fingertips. Breathe. On an inhale, push the right heel down so you don't have to use your spine to get up. And then park your hands next to the right foot and step back to your downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale here, and on the exhale, relax the weight of your head, of your jaw, your diaphragm. Feel your spine dropping. Maybe take one more big breath here. Say out. We take the left foot off the floor, we step it in between our hands, we drop the right heel down. We come all the way up to our first warrior, and then we open out to our warrior two. Keeping that left knee bent, feel the femur bone digging deep into the pocket of the hip, and as you're pushing it in, try to move your pelvis first towards the right heel, and then a little bit further up towards your side wall, leaning the top of the head in the opposite direction. If you have a block, maybe that would be handy. Otherwise, if you reach all the way down to the floor, go all the way down to the floor. Right fingertips up towards the ceiling, separating the ears and the shoulders. Calm breath. The outside edge of the right foot is grounded. You want to continuously feel how that left femur bone digs deep into the pocket of the hip. There's that slight external rotation from the femur bone in the hip. Spine is long. Breath is large. Calm. And then maybe modify your block or bring your hand down to the floor, bend a little deeper in that left knee, and then we come out here. Right fingertips diagonally forwards and upwards, pulling away from the outside edge of the right foot that is glued to the floor. There's energy throughout the whole right leg, especially around the knee. That left hip keeps rotating externally inside, deep inside the pocket of the hip. Breath is huge, calm, very stubborn. And then on your next inhale, push the left heel down into the ground so your spine doesn't have to pull up. And then just step back to your downward facing. Take one more deep, deep inhale here and then sigh out all that tension we accumulated in our shoulders, in our neck, in our jaw. We step all the way forward to our hands. On an exhale, we bend our knees, we drop our head. We inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, arms come back down. Good. And from here, we just sit down. Good. Take a little break. You practice, keep the breath, keep your awareness. Maybe come to a meditation / breathing seat again. Now for me, when I move, a movement practice, it wants to have the feeling that I'm oiling my joints. It's not so much anymore, at least not for me, maybe because I'm getting real old, about getting as flexible as possible or doing as big a movement as I can. It's more about finding that very intimate, subtle movement in my joints to keep that sensibility, that spaciousness, especially in my shoulders and in my hips. Now today maybe I should have had this talk before we went into the movement practice, but for next time, remember, don't make it very big. Try to make it, for lack of a better word, juicy. So you feel like you're warming up the joints without too much wear and tear. Subtle, easy movement led by your breath. Okay, now for seated postures, let's make the hips work a little bit. I suggest we start, you have your blankets, your pillows ready in case you need to build yourself a higher ground. I suggest we start maybe here. Right foot close to the groin, left foot a little bit ahead. This is the simplest way to get into a light opening here of the outside of the left hip. Now when you look down to your bottom, and you want to see that the hip bones are even. You want to see that you're sitting squarely on both sit bones, both of them sinking down with equal weight. If one is lifted, then change the placement of that left foot or come up a little bit higher. And then from here, almost as if you're hinging off of the hips, just let the spine tilt forward, like so. Tilting the spine forward allows us to make sure that we are working the hips more than working the lower back. Now for some of you, if you're very tight in your hips, then maybe you do need to come up a little bit higher in order to tilt forward from your hips. From that lean, place your hands, relax your elbows, relax your shoulders, and see if you can bring the heart a little further forward, almost coming out in between the front of the shoulders. See if you can move the top of the head diagonally upwards. and then breathe. If this feels too easy, then we can always bring it up to here, bringing the foot on top of the knee. Once again, looking down, making sure both hips are grounded, and then leaning forward from here, placing my hands, relaxing my elbows, lengthening the spine, ears and shoulders separating. Relax your jaw. And in these still postures, I very much use my breath to stretch the body out from the inside. Besides paying attention to the joints, especially in this case the hip joint, I also feel like I want to massage my back with that breath, widening the rib cage and massaging the content of that rib cage, organs, intestines, a little lower down. And then at the tail end of the posture, let's end it. Let's drop the weight of our head down, relaxing the arms, relaxing the spine, letting gravity help us here. Just make sure you're not lifting one butt cheek off the ground. Still even, square, aligned through your pelvis and hips. And very slowly roll up, come back up sitting, and then we do the other leg. Either parking the left heel close to the groin, the right heel in front, feeling that we're sitting in such a way that it's easy for both buttocks to drop down and melt out on the ground. Leaning forward from here, placing our hands, sending our heart a little further forward, lengthening the neck, pulling the base of our skull and the top of the head diagonally upwards and forwards, using the breath to stretch out the muscles in the back, the muscles in the abdomen, massaging our organs, sending the breath down towards the hip joints. And every exhale, we try to relax what we can. Jaw, neck, shoulders, diaphragm. If you're opting for the other version, just once again make sure your pelvis is aligned before you lean forward. It's very easy to get eager and feel like the aim of the game is to get the head down on the floor. Well, that seems like a very poor goal. Sorry. Instead, try to feel as though the asana, the position, the situation you're finding yourself in, it's causing you a little bit of conflict. It's causing you a little bit of difficulty, a little bit of pain. Now, I would say that the aim of the game is to try to make yourself to feel a little bit more at home within the confinements of your structure, of your situation, of your circumstance. Using relaxation, using your breathing, using gravity perhaps. And then At the tail end here, let's relax fully the weight of the head. Let's curve. Letting the breath spread out in the torso, in our hips. Exhaling, giving in to the pull of gravity with the weight of our head and the weight of our arms, of our chest, our torso. And then from here, slowly, slowly we come up. Let's go here. We open wide, and you can either do what? This one doesn't give you much of a choice, does it? It's either you have it open or it's a little tricky to get there. Hips should be your guideline. You want to feel comfortable here in the hip flexor, in the crease here, just as your pelvis meets the legs. Sometimes that can be achieved by bending the knees slightly, maybe placing a block below so you can really rest and feel how the femur bone kind of glides into the socket. And then you want to rotate that leg a little bit, lightly external. If you are on the ground, if you can move fully into a sort of Bruce Lee version of things, then I would suggest that you give energy to your kneecaps, give energy to the whole leg, maybe flex the foot. But flexing the foot should almost feel as if it's pulling the femur bone closer into the hip joint once again, since the actual nice stuff of the posture is to feel that subtle rotation of the femur bone deep inside of the hip joint, the hip socket. Then if you want, you can lean forward. If you want, you can keep your hands behind and maybe lean on them so the spine and the abdominal wall doesn't have to work so hard. I would suggest dropping the weight of the head so there's no tension in the neck, and maybe separate the back of the teeth, maybe even open the mouth to really know that you're relaxing your head space. Breathe. Slowly withdraw. One more hip posture. It's also the feet together. Going for your Baddha Konasana, your butterfly pose. If you need to remember, always have your pillows, your blankets at hand, so if you need to raise the ground to accommodate your position in the hips, then do so. Here I push the heels together and the outside edges of the feet glue together. This gives me a sensation of steering once again the femur into the hip joint. The heel goes into the knee pushes into the hip, so you feel a resonance right here in the hip. Maybe hold on to your toes, maybe do what I call the Ashtanga grip, 2 first fingers around the big toes, or maybe just park the hands in front. And then once again, let's go for this long spine. See if you can find that effortless length in the spine, where the top of the head from the base of the skull pulling diagonally upwards and forwards, chin tilting slightly in towards your chest. You want to have ease in your shoulders. You're not tensing the shoulders. I see many times that we place a lot of misguided ambition here as we try to reach deeper into the asana. So you pull from the shoulders to get in there. But all you're really doing is creating a lot of tension in the shoulders, and you're pulling the hips in such a way that it might hurt them. So we back off, make the position a little easier. We make sure we have plenty of space between ears and shoulders, relaxing our jaw, finding our breath. Heels are glued together, outside edges of the feet are glued together. Both sit bones are solidly glued to the ground. Spine searches for that floating, effortless, lengthening diagonally forwards, upwards. Calm, stubborn breathing. And once again, let's relax. Heavy head, heavy arms, heavy chest. From here, withdraw, come all the way up. And now, let's lay down. We come down to the floor and let's immediately bring our knees into our chest. Interlace your fingers around like so. So you have like a soft cage for your legs to relax in. I always opt for having the back of the pelvis on the ground as opposed to bringing the knees closer to the chest and having the pelvis lift off. I like to feel the whole spine, both the length and the width of it, gravity bound. And instead I use my breath to address the stiffness in my hips. I draw the breath all the way down to the crease here in between the hip bone and the top of the thigh. Feel how it inflates, bulks out. And then when you exhale, how that crease deepens, how you can relax there. Separate the back of your teeth. Make sure you're not holding anything, any tension in your jaw. Drop the weight of your skull. From here, let's do my favorite twist. Drop both knees down to your right side. Once again, you want to feel the femur bone gliding into the hip. Yes, so you have that proximity between the two, which allows you to really align your hip even in this relaxing position. You can do it also by trying to even your knees here. Then lay down, extend your left arm out. Maybe have a yoga block if you have stiff shoulders like me. Relax your elbow. And then keep tempering the breath so it feels useful for the situation, for how you're feeling. Drawing the breath towards the rib cage, drawing the breath down towards the hips, towards the lower back perhaps. But I would say above all, maybe the exhale here is significant. Once we have the support of gravity, then we want to give in to it. So we keep moving through those layers of tensions that we have accumulated in shoulders, in our neck, and in our jaw. Also check that you're not holding in the diaphragm, this squeeze sensation you can get when you twist from your rib cage, when you twist here. That can sometimes cause you to hold up or hike up the diaphragm. Try to relax it. And then slowly, slowly move your knees to center. If you need to, you can stay here a little bit, shifting the weight from one side of the pelvis to the other. And whenever you feel ready, knees drop down to your left, right arm extends. Head of the femur bone sticks deep into the pocket of the joint. Pelvis is below your rib cage, below your shoulders. The right arm reaches out, finds some ground, maybe provided by a block or a blanket. Notice where in the body you feel this a little more. And adapt your breath, adapt the direction of it, the quality of it, so it supports you, it supports your body, helps you. Keep using the exhale to clean out that tension, whether it's created today or throughout your life. So much of it. Just keep cleaning it out. Every exhale, the jaw can relax a bit more, maybe. Feel the top of the shoulders becoming all doughy, sinking. Alright. Then come back to center, and after you've done your little rocking with the hips, with the lower back, whatever you need, maybe bring your knees to your chest. Then finally we extend out into Savasana. In Savasana we have full access to use gravity, so really use it. Gravity coupled up with that exhale, at least for me, it makes me feel like I'm sinking through these layers of anxiety, nervosity, stress, worry, all those physical ramifications of those thoughts, of those emotions. They sit as tension deep inside of me. So I do Savasana quite often, and that's how I use it. To keep cleaning out these layers of tension, allowing the body to soften, allowing it to relax. And then I use the inhale to draw breath, to draw mind, draw energy to the different parts of the body where I feel like it's most needed. Usually around my intestines, since I have some digestive issues. Also sometimes the lower back. Well, you know your places. After a while, maybe you want to let that breath go, that feeling of a creative, dynamic breath, and instead let it come back to its more subtle, natural setting. Take the practice from this more external movement, strength, a little bit of alignment, and bring it back to its essence. Attention of mind, opening up to awareness. Maybe harness that attention around your breath once again. Or maybe now you can really feel all three of these components. Foundation, gravity, the weight of your bones. The sensations in your body, the feelings, the movement in your body. Keep relaxing, softening the muscles, and you will feel more. That subtle breath, without modification, usually comes up and becomes it as well, very energy efficient. This position where it doesn't have to fuel up in the same way. If you have the time, stay in your Savasana. If you have a lot of time after this, maybe bring it into another sitting session, another sitting meditation session. I find that this every single day is a little tricky, especially in this new setting. You probably heard lots of sounds, lots of things going on. Um, I'll get there. I'll get there. And I'll see you tomorrow.